Hello and a good morning, good afternoon and a very good evening to you all, the good and wonderful people of the tube. Hope you're today feeling grand and all around the world. Hello there everybody. Today's vid, people of the tube, we're going to delve into the gloriousness and loveliness that is inside of this box right here. This box has been very kindly sent to me by Tone City, so Tone City, thank you so much indeed. And this box, people of the tube, which I've already opened and has been open for a while, but I've yet to try anything in this box because I was saving it for this video. I've got self-control that I don't know I had. Anyway, but inside this box is the new and improved version 3 of some pedals, including a certain one which you'll know I love and adore and want to marry and have its babies, version of pedals. So, let's have a look what we got, shall we? So, they just love pedals, little boxes of joy. So we have the tiny spring, which was great to start with anyway. The tape machine, which was great to start with anyway. So that's a delay, that's a reverb. The Wild Throw, the Rabir Massad distortion. I didn't know that was. I forgot that was in here. They done a new version of that? Well, cool. The original was Ace anyway, so that's fine. The Bad Horse, which is an overdrive, I believe. Overdrive? Yeah, it's an overdrive. That was a cool pedal. The Sweet Cream, which, in my opinion, was a fantastic kind of like Peter Greeny British blues pedal. That's a great pedal. Look, can't wait to hear that one. The Golden Plexi version 3, everybody. Oh my lord. I straight away, I'm going straight to it because, you know, it's a Golden Plexi. They've done it. I know this is ridiculous to get bent out of shape of this, but on the version 2 pedals, Tone City stopped giving you a little bit of Velcro that goes on the bottom of the pedal. But they've rectified it. Tone City, you legends. So now, the Golden Plexi gives you the ability to go between version 1 and version 2. I love it already. I still remember, I can still remember the first time I saw Tone City pedals. It was on Anderson's. And it was Lee and Rob were demoing them. And literally the moment Rob plugged in the Golden Plexi V1, I was like, I'm getting that. And literally got it. I believe Jo bought me it actually. I think she did. I think she got it for my birthday. Literally, it was so near my birthday. Jo bought me it. And I'm still using that now. You know, I love it. I absolutely love it. I've got a nice collection of Golden Plexis, thanks to some of you out there, especially the V1s. So we will, at some point, we'll do a bit of a shootout. Not today, because it's just about fun today. Okay, so the other 2 pedals are biggies, which I've never tried. I've never tried the big Tone City pedals. This one is the Holy Aura Distortion. It's like got an on-off and a boost setting. That's going to be fun. Looking forward to this. And then this one, which I can't wait to try, people with you. The Heavenly Lake Reverb and Echo. So you have a reverb and a delay, well, echo, in the same box. I feel soundscapes ahoy, Captain, off the starboard bow. What do you reckon? I reckon so. Anyway, we have them all out. Let's get plugging them in and start making noise. We're going into the Boss Guitar 100 today. I'm just going to move some of these out of the way. I think we'll end on the Heavenly Lake. First things first, I want to hit a Golden Plexi. So I'm going to put these over here. I'm going to use my vintage because I haven't thought that far ahead about what other guitars to use. So let's just grab a Plectron. The amp should be set up with, at this point in time, this should be the John Frusciante Dirty Clean. So that's cool. I like the little sleeve they put over as well. I love this as well. This is fantastic. I'm going to show you this, people, on the tube quick. So they've got this little cover over the top of the pedal, and I can't agree more with what it says. Check it out. So where are we? Worth your time. Enjoy your playing. They've got a spelling mistake. They've missed out the E. Create your music. Anyway, spelling mistakes aside, the sentiment still stands. I like it. Okay, so let's get plugging in. I'm guessing, well, let's start with it on 0. Ooh, Is that in a different place? I don't really know. Doesn't really matter. Right, okay, so turn it off. Let's just check. We've got... Yep, cool. So we've got a John Shanty dirty, clean-ish kind of sound coming in from the katana. I'm just going to angle that a bit more towards you, people of the tube. Good Lord. Anyway, so let's turn on the Golden Plexi V2. I'm just going to move back a bit, actually. There we go. Okay, so let's crank this on. I'm just going to max it out straight off the bat. But, okay, so before we even play, the switch, when you put it to the left, is V1 without that, because it does this weird filtering thing. Because once you get it to 12, let me turn the amp up really loud. So, gain all the way down to 12 o'clock will give you kind of like a whoosh kind of hiss. But once you turn it past 12, the original Golden Plexis, they do this kind of like filter thing where it sweeps like a wire and goes really deep. Listen. You can hear it kind of like, kind of opens like a mouth. So, because a lot of people didn't like the original the original Golden Plexi, because they said it flubbed out on the high thing, but I don't think it did. Okay, so that's it on its lowest gain. I would say that actually enhances the amp, which is what the Golden Plexi always did anyway. Anyway, let's that just does that. People of the tube, do I really need to say anything? Okay, we're on phone cam today, so I can kind of play without having to worry about levels or anything. Just and again, I want you to hear it in the room, because you can hear this room has a slight delay, slight reverb to it. I want you to hear the amp in the room. I don't want you to hear it close mic, because it's not. That can be. What's the word? Not right. that morphing, and that's great. So that's version 1. Let's go to flip. Let's go to V2. So that's V1. That's the original Golden Plexi. Sounds feels like V1. This is V2. So this is V1. V2. It's got a little less bottom end to it. It kind of like it scoops out the low end a little bit. So you might be able to hear that. So this is V1, and I'll flick it over to V2. You'll hear a bass cut. Still sounds fantastic, but I really always thought like the V2 sounded really great for bass because of that bass cut, but V1, just because it has that kind of like extra low end, it just fattens up a guitar, and because I mainly use single coils, it just worked so well. And I already know this will do the John Frusciante dirty clean thing because it's a Golden Plexi, of course it will, so I don't have to worry about that. And it's really cool to have both in the same pedal. I don't despair in the V2. It's just that the V1 of Golden Plexi is just a tad better. But at this point in time, people, it no longer matters because you can get it all in the same little golden package. Anyway, we're going to move on now because that's amazing and I love it. And that's not going back in the box. That's just going there for the time being. Okay, so let's go on to, let's just go on. Let's do the Sweet Cream now. Which again, I thought was a really good British bluesy kind of pedal. We had a really nice kind of aggressive but smooth kind of overdriven kind of sound. Right, so we've got a switch on here. Is there a little thing? Yeah, there is a little thing. Okay, so I'm just going to check. Again, these are new versions. Touch, mix, drive and clean. Yeah, that was, I think that was one of the things I didn't like about the pedal. I don't like it when you can blend clean and distortion together. Some people do, I don't. But the actual overdrive and the way it works is amazing. Toggle switch, choose a different clipper diode. That's really cool. So let's see what we got. So we've got 2 different ones. So that's all overdrive. Now if I turn the touch dial all the way the other way, no. So my amp's not really set to clean. Let's go mentally clean. Down is like a blend of the two. I'm not interested. I don't like how that sound. Anyway, turn the tone up on this. So that's the gain flat out. You don't get any more gain out of it. But again, that's what I think makes this such a good Britishy blues kind of thing. Especially if you have like that kind of if you have the tone cranked and the gain cranked and the volume at like 12 o'clock. Really works well with your volume control. It's just got that kind of mid-rangey clank that these British blues if I put a delay on that as well. It does it, man. It really does. So what's the difference between the 2 diodes? So I've got the switch on the left side of this one. Ooh. A little bit more gain, a little bit brighter. Definitely prefer position 2 on the switch, on the Sweet Cream. That sounds amazing. What an overdrive. Because I still have an original Sweet Cream over there, because it's just one of those pedals that when Tone City gave me the initial load of pedals to demo back in there now, I gave pretty much all of them away, but the Sweet Cream was one I kept because it was just fantastic. And I actually used the Sweet Cream, I'm pretty sure, in my Andertons video where I was trying to sound like Peter Green. Pretty sure I used the Sweet Cream for that. With all those points, it sounded immense. I don't, one sec. I don't know how in tune this 335 is. It probably is quite in tune. But this is what I mean. Personally, it sounds great with single coils. It gives you that kind of like, it's like a tube screamer. Does that thing. But with humbuckers, it kind of just going to give that thing. But you get the idea of YouTube. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next pedal now, because we're going to have to I'm going to have to go quite rapid because I've got a lot to get through. But that is amazing. Yes. If you want like a tube screamery kind of thing, Sweet Cream is really good. But again, it works for Les Pauls as well, which a tube screamer doesn't always work for Les Paul, but that one does. Anyway, that's amazing. So let's go on to a Bad Horse now, which is another overdrive. I can't remember what this one's like. I remember not being the biggest fan of the original. It was good, but it wasn't really me, if that makes any sense. Let's give this one a whirl. So, I love how when you take the pedal out of the box, everything's maxed out on 10. it reminds me of like a... reminds me of the Boss Super Overdrive. I wonder if that's what it's based on, because it's yellow. And that's the thing I love about the Tone City pedals, and I've always loved about the Tone City pedals, is they just enhance your original sound. Like this sound. Sounds great. That's not taking anything away from what the amp's doing. It's just making it just more distorted, adding a little bit of sparkle, just doing exactly what I want a pedal to do. that is a great overdrive pedal as well. I don't prefer the Sweet Cream, but that one sounds mega. I like it. I do like it. It's not a bad pedal. I definitely prefer the Sweet Cream out of those two overdrives. That's the Sweet Cream is the one, but good crikey, Lord people do. Right, okay, so let's move on to Wild Throw, which is always a really cool high gain pedal. So let's give this a go. So this one has got the more gain switch. We'll start with the gain a bit lower. Also turn down the tone because this one wants to rip your face off, if I remember correctly. Especially if you've got single coils. So let's add the more gain. Version 2, but it sounds like version 1, but it still sounds amazing, and what a pedal. And again, not changing the overall tonality of the amp, just enhancing it with more gain and distortion. Of these distortions or the overdrives have coloured the sound of the amp. Like, they've just enhanced it with more gain and just kind of like just a kind of little different in the dynamics. And I think that's great, especially if you like the way your amp sounds. Because the really cool thing is if you set your amp completely clean, you can still get these things to dial in. There we go. They still, that's no reverb, that's in the acoustic mode of the Katana. So that's just like, that is as like clean as you can get. Like I say, nothing. If I turn down down the gain, oh, wrong way around. All of a sudden I'm getting that John Frusciante dirty clean. Out of this. I'm telling you, man, Tone City pedals are amazing. They really, I don't know what it is. There's something very, very special about it. And again, for the price they are, you can't go wrong. You really can't. They're just so good. And like I said, I really love how they just enhance. You know what I mean? They're not trying to kind of like completely change the amp sound you've got or whatever else you got. They just give you what you want from them. You know, the Golden Plexi sounds, it plexifies things. You know, that Wild Throw one is obviously something high gain mental. You know, you get the Sweet Cream Overdrive, which is just trying. It's like a tube screaming thing, but not quite. And then you get the Bad Horse, which is kind of like an SD Super Overdrive. I just love it. I love it. Anyway, let's move on to some ambient stuff now. Let's go to the Tape Machine. So the Tape Machine is an analog delay pedal, and I'm not the biggest fan of analog. I prefer digital. But I always remember the original being fun. So let's give it a go and see how we get on. Let's go back to channel 2. Lovely repeats. You can hear them like decaying off, and you hear how dark they are. So if we can set the time about there and have more repeats in, so this should give us some nice kind of ambient-y kind of sounds. If we turn up the level, should be able to get some really nice volume spots. More repeats, more repeats. More level as well. and you can get it to go crazy as well. Tell me why you wouldn't want that for a start. Sounds like Gary Moore when you do that. I love it. Anyway, that's the tape machine. It's just an analog delay, does what it says on the tin. Sounds great. I love it for the ambient-y kind of thing. I'm not a big fan. I don't like analog delay on distortion or like solo stuff. It just doesn't do it for me. It's a bit too kind of like I don't know. I just don't like how kind of like dark and muddy it gets with it. Really, it gets a bit weird. But other than that. If you do like analog delay, there you go. Right, now this one I'm really excited for because I still have a tiny spring. I have the V1 over there on my pedal shelf. And these things are fantastic little reverb pedals. So, and it's just a single dial as well, which means you can't go wrong. So I'm going to turn the reverb off on the katana. So now we're just dry. You can kind of hear the room actually there. Hopefully it'll come across. There's a slight little reverb in the room. Anyway, let's start with it on 0. Nothing. There it is. I love that. Listen to that. So it comes in about 9 o'clock. 12 o'clock. This is at 3 o'clock, so this is getting rolled by now. All the way up gives you kind of Jeff Buckley things. Let's go to G minor. It's got this kind of like. This is interesting, it's got like a modulation. Hear that? scale thing, I mean, seriously, if that's not a test for a spring reverb pedal, that I don't know what is. I just love that surf thing they would do where they'd play a minor chord and just slightly dive bomb it. Carried away and having too much fun with that pedal. If I don't stop now, I'm not going to stop. That, again, another great pedal. People on YouTube, another great pedal. Can't say more. Okay, so the Holy Aura Distortion. Look at the size of this thing. It's a beast. Let's move on. Let's try this thing. This thing looks glorious. Good Lord. Okay. We have a boost and an on-off here. So just a distortion on-off. Got presence and tight, everything's cranked, so let's just turn everything down. So I'm guessing, I don't know how this one works, people. I'm going to have to refer to the manual. Okay, so it's an American style high gain distortion, so I'm thinking it's going to be quite bright. Okay. There's a lot of bass in it. Adds kind of like a bit of a cut to the low end and just like, well, makes it cut out a bit more, kick out a bit more. Probably work better on a cleaner setting, but that's cool. So this is a beast. This wants to kill you. Indiana Jones things. That's a monster. That literally wants that wants your face, man. That is a pedal. That's a really cool distortion pedal. I like that. That one, people tube, has got me. That really has. That's going over there with the golden plexi piece to try in a bit. That's insane. Okay, so let's go to the Heavenly Lake now. So this is a reverb and a delay, or echo, all in one. So, perfect way to finish the video, I think, just on ambience. Whoa! Okay, so we've got a lot of dials on this thing. Got wet decay, tone, can change the tone of a reverb. On the echo side of it, we've got time, mix, depth, speed, repeat, modulation. Good lord, let's start with the reverb. Jeez, man. Let's turn the tone down. Turn the tone up. Right, so it's like a slapback almost. Keep going along that vibe, man. We're going to turn on the echo. Okay, there's the echo on its own. Need to. Okay. control over the modulation as well. So not only do you have control of the ambient, you can turn the modulation in and out. So this is without. This is with. You can change it. Let's turn the speed down really low and the depth really far up. I'm going to put the reverb back in. I think that's enough people with tube. If I know anything, which I don't know anything, these are insanely good pedals. That Heavenly Lake, that's a pedal. That's a pedal. The Aura Distortion, the Golden Plexi, the Tiny Spring, all these pedals. Tone City. Answers in the name, yes, tone. They sound amazing. Massive thanks to them for sending me these, all this, and letting me bring it to you people too, because I have loved this and I've needed this today because I'm not in a very good mental space at this point in time, and this has really helped. And I'm just going to keep noodling about now off camera, especially on this Heavenly Lake. got this pedal. I love the distortions and I love audio pedals, but my pedal of the day, people tube, is this one. And the fact that it looks like water. Designed by Jay Wong. You're a genius, man. Whoever you are. This pedal, what does it look? Where are we? There we are. It looks like water. There's a genius there. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. Massive thanks to Tone City for sending me these pedals to have fun with. As you can tell, I got carried away by the length of the video, but hey, that's what we do here. There's no point doing things quick if you can take your time and have more fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again very soon for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. If you'd like to support the channel, please become a patron at Patreon. Links to that in the description box below. And yeah, massive thanks to Tone City again. I cannot thank them enough. People with tube, let me know which one was your favourite in the comment section below. Some of these pedals are just insane. The police are coming to arrest me, you know, because that kind of sound is illegal. I'm sure of it. See you later. Have a good one. Goodbye now. Whoa.